Let's get started. Number one, the first principle is that we need to understand that we are only one of 35, or one of 750, or one of 12, or one of 128. But we need to understand that we are one of many. What does that mean? What do I mean by that? That it is important for us to keep in mind that everything does not fall on our shoulders. That we, in a classroom of 28 students, are one of 28 or 29 human beings in that room. Which means that maybe our voice isn't the most important or shouldn't always be the loudest. Maybe the person that should do the most talking isn't necessarily us because we're just one of 30, right? What this does, hopefully, is it begins to alleviate some of the stress and pressure that we put on ourselves as social activists to try to bring about change. Because at the end of the day, our role and responsibility is to influence, to try to help to direct, but ultimately to be a part of the community. And therefore, change belongs to the community. Now, this flies in the face. I know some of it is just intuitive, right? But it flies in the face of the societal norms and messages that we get, because after all, the music that we hear, the stories that we are given, the history that we are given is dominated by the preeminent role of the individual. Meaning that when you talk about US history, it is the history of one white president to another white president. Maybe you sprinkle a little brown in there in the past 8 years, right? But it's essentially the history of individuals, right? We talk about the importance of individuals in everything, as though there could have been a Martin Luther King Jr. without the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. As though there could have been an Assata Shakur outside of the Black Panthers. As though there could have been Winnie Mandela outside of the African National Congress. As though there could have been a Cesar Chavez outside of the United Farmers movement, right? As though any of those individuals could have made the impact that they needed to make outside of the collective. We have a responsibility to remember that we are part of a collective, right? What does that do in terms of this notion of building community? It puts the responsibility of building community squarely on those that it belongs, and that is the collective. And here's the challenge. If we do not start with this principle that we are one of the many, then ultimately what we're really saying is we are more important. We are more important. And this work of building a diverse workforce, of moving the needle on cultural relevancy, of fighting for the marginalized lives and dies on our shoulders. So what happens if we take a leave of absence? We know too well what happens. Those initiatives die because we have not anchored them inside of the hearts of those that it belongs. Principle number one is we are one of the many.